Hey, it's me, Rebecca, here for another educational and interesting podcast, all centered around learning how to play the flute really well. Now, today we're going to be discussing what it means to pull out and push in on the flute and why you really need to know.
You can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step all along the way. Introducing the Learn Flute Podcast.
It's a great day here again at Learn Flute Online, and I've been really busy creating content for you awesome online flute learners. And I hope that you'll find value and interest in what I have to offer you. Now, I know that you're learning how to play the flute and probably have a lot of questions. I love your effort, and I will do my very best to get as much information out to you in as many ways as possible. Because I remember what it was like to be a beginner and learn how to play the flute, and I tell you, it was kind of rough. There were just so many things I didn't know. And if I had a resource like this podcast and the other lessons and information over on the Learn Flute Online website, I would have rocked it even sooner. Well, this reminds me that I had a new premium student come into my online studio just this week, and he's been literally binge watching the lessons. It's kind of fun. Every day he's in there learning and practicing for hours, and it's so much fun to watch him and all of you and know that this content is exactly what he and you needed right now. So let's get to it. I see many students each week, and one thing I notice with the newer students is definitely how off tune they are. Does this sound like you? Well, probably. I think it's basically impossible to be a perfectly on tune flute student when you're first starting. In fact, it takes quite a while, years even, to get the hang of having your pitch match exactly where it should be, because basically there are just so many factors that go into good sound and tuning. It's difficult. I bring this up because it honestly does not matter what stage of the flute playing game you're in. Everyone can learn to be better at what they already know. So, today's subject of what does it mean to pull out or push in your flute is, well, you guessed it, it's all about tuning. When we assemble our flute, most people think that all of the parts should fit tightly together. Well, this really isn't true. The foot joint does twist all the way together, nice and tight with the body of the flute, but the head joint is not supposed to. Perhaps many years ago, and I'm talking like before the 1960s, they were, but the flute head joints were all made a certain length back then, and it was noticed that tuning with certain other instruments was difficult, especially if the other instrument wasn't on perfect pitch. So they started making the head joints longer to accommodate for this. It was really helpful. So when we assemble our flutes, we now know that we should twist our head joint into the body of the flute, but not all the way. Basically, we need to stop before it gets all the way into that silver. Now, if you look at your flute, you'll notice that there's a part of the end of the barrel. You know, the side that does not have the cap on it. The other side, the open end, where there's shiny silver, is not there. You should actually see part of that still, even after you put your flute together. So if you accidentally twist it all the way into the body, you need to pull it out a bit in order to have a fighting chance at being on pitch when you play. Now, of course, we fine-tune this the more you learn how to play. But for right now, this is important to just understand. So when I say push in, you'll know that you need to twist the head joint even farther into the body so that it shortens the flute, but never all the way, unless your cork is off, and that's a subject for a whole nother day. Now, if I say pull out, you simply twist and twist until more of the head joint is out of the body, which makes the flute longer. Now, I know this might sound kind of elementary, but it's one of the basics of learning well. There are so many learning flutists who never even get this kind of important information. Now, one of the reasons I thought to talk about this today is that I was helping a group prepare for a performance the other day, and I had them all lined up so I could listen to them one at a time on just a single note. This single note was their tuning note. On flute, we like to use the first and the second octave A because it seems to be one of the notes that's most on tune for us naturally. Now, as each student stepped forward and played their A for me, I would instruct them with one of these three commands. I would say pull out, push in, or perfect, leave it right there. I hope this is opening your eyes to the world of better flute playing because it is real, and I'm happy to teach you as well. Well, that does it for today's subject. I want to remind you that I would love to hear from you in the comment section here or over at the learnfluteonline.com website, where you'll find a very, very large pool of information on this subject, including hundreds and hundreds, well, actually approaching the point where I can say thousands of video lessons where I demonstrate exactly what you need to know and learn in a step-by-step sequential manner. It's awesome, and it's all for you. Now, as usual, I want you to feel free to ask me any question you have. All the students are in their own stage of development and learning at different times, so just let me know and I'll make sure that what you need to know makes it into an article, podcast, or a video lesson. The flute learning community is a nice one, full of the very best people on the planet. So let's continue to rally and help each other out. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks for listening today. Remember that this is where people of all ages, such as you, can come, learn, and play the musical instrument flute in an easy-to-follow, organized manner, and in the privacy and comfort of your own home, on your own schedule.